scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Talk until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy, only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind, you know I'll always manifest it. I'm my own worst enemy, only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind, you know I'll always manifest it. Who I am, I'm making a new plan, rearranging my life, and I won't look back ever again.
You ain't see me activated. You better hope that you never see me agitated. I think about my actions, plan them out, evaluated. That's how I end up on the top, man, I'm calculated. My mind's a weapon, my body is the engine. I'm never second guessing, I just do what I was destined. Cause I feel I got the blessing, persistence and obsession. That's how you keep progressing, I already learned that lesson, yeah.
I'm changing who I am, I'm making a new plan, rearranging my life, and I won't look back ever again. You can't stop what's moving, you can't stop what's moving. I'm changing my life, and I won't look back ever again.
No fear, see clear, you deserve to be great. I know it feels like things get in your way. Push through those walls and the others will fall. Sit up, stand tall, you can get through it all. I need some energy, anxiety's no friend to me. I have a short memory, I don't really remember things. That's how I move on, that's how I stay strong. A new day's on, I'll keep moving right along. And I feel like the pain in the past, it needs to stay in the past. You gotta take off the cast. I wanna feel like I'm a new person. I wanna have clear vision and purpose. And I feel like the pain shouldn't last. If you can move on and past the things that make you feel bad, and you can change in your brain, I'm certain. I've done it before, and man, I'm not perfect.
I'm changing who I am, I'm making a new plan, rearranging my
What is going on, fam? Welcome back to another episode. My name is TradeFly, bringing you some of the most important market news as well as technical analysis that you can actually use. Bitcoin is at a key level. That is not clickbait. That is not me trying to get you to watch the rest of the show. Bitcoin is at a key level. All right, we're going to take a look at that. We have swept the low from April. We also retested the high of a previous range. I mean, and I'm talking about a big range, a range that we were in for about 7 to 8 months. We have now actually tested that officially. Okay, so we're at a key level. There's some other technicals that align as well. However, this is where you want to see a turning point. This is truly an area you want to see a turning point. We're pretty darn close. Like I said, we have cleared out most of the liquidity at this point. There is still some liquidity below us, some long-standing liquidity. And when I say that, I'm talking about you got to go to the heat map for a year's worth of data to pull out that there's actually liquidity below us right now. That being said, we're going to get to the charts. We're going to talk through a couple different game plans, right? Like if you're trading, I got something for you. If you're going to hodl, if you're going to hold it for a longer amount of time, I got a plan for that too. Don't you worry. But first things first, let's go over to the chat. Let's say what's up to the homies in here. We got, of course, Alexandra G, the best mod in all of this space. How you doing, lady? Thank you for being here. Much love to you. We got all set in the house. How you doing? Good to see you in the chat. Thank you for being here. And of course, my dude, HRJ Trading. And my man has been in an epic short on Bitcoin and has been calling for Bitcoin to 74K. He's been dropping it in the chat, I feel like, for weeks now. Give him his props. He has called the shot. All right, let's go over to our first segment. That is going to be, well, our news. And you know who we got to bring up? The one and only Mr. Elmer Fudd. I surprised myself with the first segment of the day. I got here quick. Anyways, Bitcoin did fall to its lowest price since President Trump's 2024 election victory. There was some argument saying that would not happen. And I think Sin City Crypto actually had a tweet out on X, and I was like, yep. I was on Sin City's side. I think one of the individuals in their chat was pushing back on it. It was basically like, ain't no way. Yeah, there's a lot of way, especially when you have liquidity down there. So welcome to the party, my friend. Yeah, man, we're here. So let's look at the total market cap, sitting at 2.54 trillion. That is down 3.9% over 24 hours. It's been ugly. Fear and greed index is in extreme fear. Now, there are some people that like to buy when we get to extreme fear. That's just what they do. That's how they roll. We're at 17. All right, pretty low. Interesting though, I want to point out to you, Bitcoin dominance still at 58.9%. That is exactly what it was last time we talked. Altcoin season, 33. So there was an uptick there. So what you probably are going to see is a little bit more of a parallel. We talk about it all the time. Instead of seeing that divergence or that exponential move, you're probably going to see it move kind of at the same rate, which is, I guess a silver lining if you're in altcoins. But here we go. Bitcoin is currently at 74,567. That is down 4.73%. Ethereum is at 2191, down 6%. All right, we talked about the dominance. Let's see. 24-hour trading volume is actually down 28.91%. It's down 150 billion. Let's go ahead and get over to the bubbles. Hype is up 5.4%. That's been getting a lot of hype here lately. I've been hearing people talk about it. You got STX at 4.7. Let's see. This is tethered gold at 5.8%. Anything gold. Anything and everything gold. Everybody is loving on the gold. You got Pax gold. It's like everything. It's like when you go through those little crazes. Like we had the AI thing for a while. That was the hotness, right? All the AI cryptos were just pumping away. And then here we are. Anyways. Other than that, man, it's a sea red out. It's not the greatest, but most of it's down about 3-4%. Kind of seems to be the average over the last 24 hours. It's not. I mean, it's been a horrendous fall over the last few days, but again, most things seem to be paralleling for the most part. All right, let's go over to our next segment. That is going to be the Daily DGen, where I give you guys the opportunity to vote whether we go long or short. So here we go. All right, let's see what you guys got. Did I even put it? I didn't put a vote out. That's a rookie move. It's all good. Let's get it out there. Daily DGen. Here we go. Moon. Doom. Get your votes in. Get them in quick. I'm giving you guys the opportunity as the audience to vote whether we go long or short. And I will take a play on it. The big thing here is teaching you that you don't have to be that great at technical analysis, but if you use appropriate risk management, it might save your booty and you still might be able to make some money. Strange thing. All right, we'll come back to it. We'll let you guys get some votes in. Let's go ahead and go to the liquidation heat map. So you do have some liquidity, all right? So one of the areas I've been looking at was 79.2. I've been talking about 79.2, it feels like, for probably the better part of a couple days at this point. That's where the heat is building up for obvious reasons. You're seeing a very consistent, set of really just barely seeing lower highs there, but consistently rejecting from that level. Okay, so that's what you're seeing. And what happens, people get comfortable with that level, they start putting stop losses, they put leverage positions, and that's where they'll get liquidated if price were to work its way back up. This is how you get into those squeezes, right? All right, so you see some liquidity to the top side. Now, liquidity to the bottom side on the 3-day, it's dark, okay? So there are times, all right, that it's especially on the 3-day and higher time frames, you will see where it goes dark, right? The incentive in terms of the exchanges, the market maker, the incentive for them to drive the price in that direction is a lot less when the liquidity is not there, right? They want to chase the liquidity because if they liquidate people, they get money. Very simple concept there. So I do pay attention to this, and I love to see, like, this would have been a great thing to see if you had this accumulation period here, and then you saw a wick up to grab this liquidity and then reestablish back into that range. Guess what? Your boy would have been going short. Now, I did take a short yesterday, but not an A+ setup in my mind, and we'll call it a B setup, okay? It was a B setup. I posted that on X and in the Discord here. You can see a consistent series of lower highs, all right? So that's just building that pressure to the downside there, ultimately pushing its way through and losing that area of support. I did take a trade on that, but because it's not an A+ setup, lower capital, right? I didn't go all in on it. I didn't get crazy. I had a very tight stop. I had a very tight take profit. I did hit on that for about 287 bucks. 1-1 yesterday, though. Full transparency, keeping it real. I was a little aggressive on a stop yesterday. I had the right direction. I had the right play, and of course, it came up. I should have kept the stop loss above the range, which I did not. But it is what it is. I got stopped out. Quick one. I was quick, very wrong on that one. So that one I lost about, I think, 98 bucks on that one. So all in all, though, still up, about a couple $100 or so yesterday. So that's what I'm trying. This is what I'm aiming for. I want to try to make about, a few $100 a day and see if we can sustain that over the course of the month. So that is the goal. All right, let's look at a little bit of top-down analysis for Bitcoin here, and then we'll get into those levels that I talked to you about here in the opening. This was a big one. This is not clickbait. This is not BS. Okay, we are at a pretty key level. You got the 0.5 fib. That is on a macro. Okay, so you're talking about bear market low all the way to the all-time high is where you have the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level. You have a very, very clear horizontal, and it aligns with the range high of this previous area of consolidation. All right, so you had this previous range here bouncing all around. See, that was your high. Retested that before ultimately impulse moved through. So this is a pretty important level at 73.7. Now, there were some orders on the books at 73.7 specifically, almost. I mean, it was uncanny that they were sitting. Actually, I think they were at 73.9. So I think they front ran it by a couple hundred. Now, there was a big, I won't say a big, there was a few people asking, like, why didn't it go all the way down to the wick and take all the liquidity? Now, there's a couple things to think about here, and I want you to take this away as a learning point. It doesn't have to. Okay, because the way the liquidity works when it's building up as this wick comes down, it's not all necessarily just below the wick. Now, we ended up down there. Don't get me wrong. We ended up down there. But it does not have to, okay? And so that's why, like, when you see that bounce and you saw it a little bit early, almost like front running it, like, it does make sense because actually the bulk of your liquidity initially was a little bit higher on the wick. So what happens as price is pushing up, retail a lot of times is late to the game, right? They're jumping into positions as it's going up. It doesn't, not everybody catches the bottom, right? You might put your stop loss down there and you might put your liquidation areas down there, but a lot of people don't. Okay, so they're just getting into these, right? And their liquidation areas are almost, parallel to where they're getting into the position. You need to understand that. However, we have, it's all gone. It's I won't say it's all gone. All right, there's liquidity underneath of us. Like I said, you got to zoom out to the yearly. But all that is now we're talking about all of this. So, like, I mean, we could play this game all the way down to 0 if you wanted to. Like, if you want to be like, there's liquidity. Like, yeah, we can play it all the way down to 0. But where's the bulk of liquidity? The bulk of liquidity has been cleared off the table. Now, you do have another hot spot, again, at about, I think, 73, which does fall in line with the 0.5, and would make sense considering that you do have, you know, a push up. You had that impulse move right here to the upside. So, yeah, it makes sense. However, you are starting to see some buys come in. All right, there was a little bit of aggressiveness, and how can we validate that? We can go over to one of the terminals or the order books and start to look. Like, hey, did you get some buying pressure? Yeah, you got some buying pressure in here. There was some orders down here. There was orders here. All right, pretty decent orders. And then there's some more orders down here, and that ultimately was enough to start pushing the price up. You did see the aggressiveness in buys actually enter the market. You saw open interest spike as well. You saw those all in confluence, right? The parallel is what pushed it up. Now, you know, we're getting to a point now where sells are actually starting to come in over top of the price action. That's not a good look, fam. All right, that right there, honestly, not a good look. If that stays on the books. So, I mean, you have a high volume area node and you have a large order of 3.43K. That's a pretty big order sitting on the books, sitting over top of the price action right now. What happens is that sell side pressure. So if it pushes up into that, what's it going to do? It's going to go back down. So if that stays on the books, not great, to be honest with you. So keep your eye on that. So I think this is kind of a developing level. We'll say a horizontal level that we can keep our eyes on. If we were to break above that, let's go ahead and draw, because I know everyone likes pictures. Get above the high volume area node, get above that order, that limit order. Why, you know, I didn't let go of my mouse. Why did you decide it was time to stop drawing? You tell me that, Mr. Computer. Anyways, as it comes back down, to retest that level, which I know I drew it down in there, but it is what it is. It just does its own thing. Retest this horizontal, then we could look for that continuation up, and you got a gap there in volume right here. Very important. And then you're probably looking for a push up to, I'd say about 75, 890, 75, let's call it 75.9 for government work. But this is, I mean, you're gonna have to push through this, and that right there is not ideal. Not ideal, to be honest with you. So be careful, be extra cautious right now. If you didn't catch the bottom, which most people did not, I'm sure, unless you were hunting that order that was sitting there on the books, or if you were hunting some of the liquidity that was sitting down there and just took a flyer with this nice candle right here. Yes, you did have a bullish engulfing, got it. You also had CVD tick up, you had open interest tick up. So yeah, I mean, if you would have took along like a flyer, like you're going fishing, got it. Probably where I'm looking to say thank you for the profits to this point. And then I'm going to wait to see what happens with this horizontal level right now. So there is a little bit of top down for you guys. I mean, this level hasn't changed. We've had this level, I feel like, for absolute months. All right, months we've had this identified. So why is it important? Let's turn the lock off here. Let's pull this liquidity up. Let's put it where it's really at. There you go. Cool. So just if you guys need to know, these green boxes here on the side usually annotate liquidity, so I don't have a bunch more lines. All right. So, okay, where we're at, key level, 100% key level. Okay. So this is, I'm not going to say make or break. That's cheesy, but you really want to see a push up. And then if you're going to take a position, don't fight the trend, right? Like the trend is clear as day. Is down. Okay, so lower highs, lower lows, got it. If you take a position, a long position, like, okay, I'll tell you my game plan. I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but my game plan, if I end up taking a long position, then I'm taking it up to the bottom of the range. This bottom wick here is where I'm looking to get out. What is that? That's only about an 8% move. Okay, so just understand what it is. 8%. There you go. And then it's all about where the wick is. Currently, yes, we can get a 2-to-1, almost a 3-to-1 out of this trade, you know, if we see a continuation. The problem is we're running into a horizontal level right now that we need to break with sell side pressure over top of it. That has to be off the table before you can take this, all right? So understand that. CVD still needs to go up. Open interest still needs to go up. And you have a I won't say huge, but you have a pretty large order on the books providing sell side pressure that needs to be broken. Realistically, it's probably going to close this gap a little bit here in terms of getting a 2-to-1. You're probably going to be darn close to a 2-to-1, not a 2.7, just based on understanding what's over top of us right now. Okay, so that's one thing to keep an eye on. But the other thing to pay attention to is, hey, what if we lose this level? All right, well, if we lose this level, that's in my mind bad. You don't want to reestablish the previous range. Like, that's not a good look. All right, you don't want to come down and start working and messing around with this previous range here. Now, you do have the median of the channel. We have respected that before. Know it's there. The 0.5 is there. Also, all great things. Liquidity. I mean, yeah, there is still confluence. There is still an opportunity. However, I don't want to start flirting with getting down below the highs of this range and reestablishing a range and a consolidation period, because what's the expectation? Just like we worked up, right? You consolidate, right? So it's like stair-stepping up. You don't want to stair-step down, right? And then you're down here and you're ranging along with this. Not ideal. However, let's give you some things to look at if we do, right? This is going to be a different mindset, not all trading. Let's see. No, not now, Siri. No, thank you. Here we go. Let's get rid of that. Cool. So, let's give you some DCA points. All right, now this is me. All right, I know there's a downtrend. If you're a believer in the 4-year cycle, hard to argue with it right now. Hasn't quite been broken. Let's agree on that. Okay, Q3 of this year, Piper, he's giving out the alpha, man. 3 years, 11 months has been that point where you see the highs. It also goes up to a very prominent Fibonacci level. I can't remember if he had it at the 0.786. I believe it was. That's kind of been what we've seen in terms of the highs and where we see the bounces, right? So anyways, if you believe in the 4-year cycle, that would open us up to a continued downside. Could we bounce and consolidate in here? Yeah, absolutely. 100%. But given the 4-year cycle and the probability that you could see at, I hate to say this, you could see up to a 75% drawdown, right? That is the last two. It's about a 70 to 75% drawdown on the last two. All-time high to the low of the cycle, 70 to 75%. Okay, that puts you down around 35. I mean, no one's going to enjoy that. But let's look at some DCA points. We're at one right now. So, me personally, did I buy today? Yes. Didn't even think twice about it. Didn't even care that it's ugly going into that level. Don't care. I DCA'd in, okay? Because I'm sticking to my plan. My plan is, as price action works down, knowing what the cycle is, like we there's a lot of argument that the 4-year cycle, it is, I think in my mind, still intact, that because there's institutional investment, because there is larger money going into it, like that's unequivocal. We do have, regulations coming down the pipe. They're still kind of working through those, but like, it's not a matter of crypto, is it here to stay anymore? It's here to stay. We can safely agree on that. So it's an investment for me. And if it's an investment, I'm going to treat it like an investment, right? My job here, if I'm investing in Bitcoin specifically, is to accumulate Bitcoin, right? That's the plan. Do I make a nice, chunk of money in the middle of everything by trading? Yes. Do I want to accumulate more Bitcoin? Yes. How do I do that? Well, the cycle has presented itself, the drawdown has presented itself, then you buy, right? Now, I'm not saying that's what you do, that's just what I'm doing. Okay, so this is my first big DCA point, okay? Now, I have been laddering in, just so you know, small bits. I've been very transparent about that. I've laddered into a few positions with some of the altcoins as well, ones that I think that will actually survive the test of time. However, this is my first big DCA point. So when you're talking about a dynamic DCA, where do you put a little bit more money in at? Where do you get a little more aggressive? This is my first point. Why? Well, we've already talked about how key this level is, but also, if we're to reverse here, right? Let's say they're right. Let's say the 4-year cycle is broken. Let's say they are right. Well, if it goes up, then I'm winning the game. It don't matter, right? Like I win if we go up from here. If we don't, that's okay. I am expecting drawdown based on the statistical probability that we could have continued downside. So where's my next spot? My next spot is sitting down here at about 53. Why? Low of the range, right? We got the top of the range, the low of the range, and you have the golden pocket as well. Roughly, all right, there's a little bit of a node there, all right? It's not as high volume as here or down here, but you could see, right? There's a little bit going on down there, okay? So I'm gonna front run that a little bit and get into the golden pocket. That will be my next point. What do? I bring my cost basis down. Bring the cost basis down to about 64.5. Got it. So if we bounce from here and we go back up to the entry, guess what? Profit. That's okay though. Let's say we keep going down. Let's say we play out the 4-year cycle. We get that 70% drawdown. I got another point for you. All right. We got the bottom of the channel. This channel goes back to the 2021. You got a high volume area node that's certified, and you have the range here. Now, I might play with this a little bit. You know, I might front run it some more. And understanding that we typically go down to the 0.786 and the 75% drawdown, yada, yada, yada. But I'm going to front run it a little bit. I'm going to be ahead of the game because you have seen that before where Bitcoin goes down to these key levels and then it gets within $100, $200, maybe $500. And all of a sudden it says, no, hold my beer. And it just goes, right? That's exactly what happened right here. I was looking forward to at least retest the top of the range. It got within like a few $100s to actually retest on the top of the range, and it bounced. So then I was looking, you know, I was delayed getting in because my limit order, I don't know if aggressive is the right word. I was just trying to be too like matter of fact, like to the dollar. I'm like, all right, it's going to retest the top of the range. That's where I put my limit order. Well, of course, that puts me, you know, in a worse spot. All fine because it went way up. But, you know, it you know, a couple percentages, you know, I just threw out the window when I probably should have just front run it. And that probably would have put me in a little bit better position. So that's kind of the game plan if we get all the way down here. Now, if we lose all that, then, you know, something has dramatically gone wrong. And it may turn into a bad investment. It could. That's the risk that we're taking. It's still speculative in nature, and you have to accept that with any investment. With any investment, it doesn't matter who you invest in, whether it be Tesla, Nvidia, Apple, Google. I mean, it only takes one wrong move by a company to ruin it, and that's the risk that you take. And I would say that the probability that, you know, a company can make a wrong move because it has people. And when you're flying airplanes, what's the cause of most accidents? It's not the airplane, it's the people. So that's what you got to worry about when you're investing in companies. Now, they're kind of built different. They're built like tanks, right? They're built to endure. But that being said, you know, I believe in the next few years, Bitcoin will be a higher price point than what we've seen at the all-time high. I'm not going to sit here and give you the $500,000, you know, thesis that that's where we're going. I mean, I honestly, like, I'm only probably looking at another, like, you know, like probably like 150, 155 to be real with you. I'm just looking forward to follow the trajectory, to be like the NASDAQ, to be like the S&P, where we just keep that, you know, methodical up and right. We keep this mean going. Like this is like, if you're looking at a channel, that's what this channel is. This pink line right here is just the mean. It's the average. And that's my expectation. Maintain that puppy and we're good. Lose that puppy and, you know, I might be a little worried. But for now, you know, that's the trajectory that we're on. There's no denying that. That goes back to the 2021 and before, okay? So where did I actually develop it from? Really just from the high to the swing low. All right. So, but it's been holding up pretty well. No doubt about it. All right. So that's kind of the DCA plan. Now, important part of this. All right. Again, for me, y'all do you. For me, if price action pushes back up, I'm expecting that, you know, again, 4-year cycle, if that stays intact, I'm expecting that, you know, to start happening, to start working its way back up Q3 of this year. So expecting, yep, there could be drawdown. Our cost basis will be down here. Not ours. My cost basis will be down here at about 53. And then all I need is for Bitcoin to go back up to the current levels. That's all I need. The current levels. What's the percentage return, you ask? Glad you asked. Let's measure. Percentage return to return to these levels is 34%. Now understand, this will be spot, but this will be a heavier amount of capital for me. All right, so I'm not putting leverage on it. I'm putting real capital on this. So a 33% move, I'm okay with. All right, I don't feel like it's a gamble. I feel like it's an investment. Well, why won't you hold? Because I don't want to round trip. That's why. You want some real advice that ain't financial advice, but some advice? Don't round trip. Be smart about it. You're going to have to realize the gains. Now, if you want to hold it and pass it to your children's, you're playing a different game than me. All right? That's different. Different mindset. I'm going to realize my gains. And then what I'm going to wait for is, do we break back into the range? Just same thing. It's all about getting back into these ranges, is reestablishing the ranges. If we get back in and I get above, you know what it's going to do? I guarantee you, I can't say guarantee. I can't say guarantee. What I think will happen, what is likely to happen statistically, is that it's going to retest this range right here. If we see the continuation in CBD, open interest, buying pressure, all of that's coming in, right? Just breakout, retest, continuation. What I'm going to do is look to get back in. And then I'm going to ride the waves on what? That 33% profit. I'm not putting my original capital back into it. I'm putting my profit into it. So I'm playing on house money. That's the difference. That's a real plan. And I think a lot of people don't do a good job at giving you a real plan. That's a real plan. So I'll play on house money. And then what I'll do is I'll put a stop loss, probably about like 10% or so, right? So if I were to lose, let's say I get stopped out. Let's say we come back down in the range and Bitcoin just doesn't want to play nice. What have I lost? Well, I've lost 10% of the 33%. But I didn't lose my original capital. I ain't saying, I'm just saying. That's a real plan. Maybe I should make a short. All right, let's get over to the chat. Let's see what's up to the peeps. Smash that like and subscribe. Let's do it. Come on. I gave you alpha. I gave you something real. Not no BS. Come to the Discord. Then I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Nah, man. This is it. I'm giving you the real alpha. I ain't holding back. Ain't no upsell. It's a real plan. And when we make trades and when we're looking at taking trades, it's real. Like there's no holding back. All right. All set. What up to you? Wick's wife is in the house. What up? What up? Crypto Squid in the house. Yo, what up, dude? We going down past 70K. Be easy over there, man. Be easy. We got my man B Team Crypto in the house. What up to you guys? You know what? Let's get something. You know what? Let's get something that like makes us feel good. We need some happiness here. Actually, I am feeling pretty good right now that it looks like Bitcoin is starting to bounce a little bit. That's good. This is the first sign that we want to see the hold over this level. That's good. Buying pressure is starting to enter the market. Let's see what CBD is doing. Continuation. I love it. Open interest, continuation. You're already starting to see higher highs, higher lows on both CBD and open interest. It's only on the 5 minutes, so don't get too excited. All right, look at that, man. Broke out. Look at that. That's that level I was talking about. We broke right through it. All right, and then when I say quick move up, we got that because there's that gap right there. And then you have the volume right here. There it is. Man, talking to you guys, I should be trading. Throwing away money for you. That's how much I love you. All right. Should be trading. All good. Let's get this party. Let's get it moving. Let's get it moving. All right. Let's look at USDT dominance. Cool. You do want to see a rejection for USDT dominance right now. Not really seeing it. you have kind of reestablished into this range above. So what you really want to see, all right, you see this this horizontal here, you want to get below that. At minimum, get below that, start moving your way back down. I mean, the likely thing that'll happen is if it does lose this little horizontal right here, that it comes back to retest this area right here. Now, you know, the bad thing would be is if you see a bounce, right? And we know it moves in waves, right? Price action moves like that, whether it's up or down. You know, look, I mean, it's showing you right here. So it comes down, it retests this area, you'll probably get a bounce, likely. So if you're in like shorter trades, like if you're in something intraday and you come down to test this level, what do you think the logical thing is going to happen? Well, if the logical thing that's going to happen is going to bounce and you're in an intraday trade, what should the thought process be? Should you stay in the trade? I'm not going to say what to do with your life. I'm just saying, you know, pay attention to it. All right. That ain't going to work for you. Let's look at USDT dominance. We were looking at this level here at the 0.5. Got it. It's pretty strong horizontal in terms of looking at where did you have resistance and support. Now, it looks a little bit different than Bitcoin. I know that, but roughly, let's modify this, right? Because that's that whole range. But let's say, all right, there's your bottom. There's the top of your range. Anywhere in that area is a really nice spot to find some support. And you just happen to have the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level. You also have a high volume area node. So like it's going to be the inverse, right? And when I say that inverse to USD dominance, it actually should parallel more with Bitcoin, but you're at a pretty nice spot, especially given that high volume area node at 2.56. I remember talking about that last time we were on the show. If we push down to 2.26, you know, that's another spot that you can pay attention to, just because you know that you had previous volume there. Now, the thing that I wouldn't like about it as much is like that is smack in the middle of the fibs, and I mean there's an argument to be said right here that you have a nice little horizontal. If you're grouping the price action, which is something I like to do, group, got it, and then that line goes right through, got it, cool. All right, so we're seeing you got an impulse move through. That's important to me. With a nice move out of that area. So, you know, next leg down, 2.26 would make a lot of sense, even though there's no like fib, or it doesn't always have to be a fib, right? You don't always have to have this overlapping confluence, but price action has respected the level before, and that is what's important. So if we move down for Bitcoin, that's something you want to pay attention to. Now, in terms of if we move up for Bitcoin, then hey, what are we looking at? Well, you got a gap there in volume, and moving back up to at least the bottom of the range. This looks a lot like Bitcoin, this part of it. Now it's this looks different, right? Because it dipped down lower here in April, right? Remember, Bitcoin just retested the high, where this fell pretty far past the high, to be honest. It almost like reestablished the previous range, pretty much did before it moved back up. All that being said though, this looks very similar in terms of Bitcoin and total market cap, right? So if you're working your way back up and you're retesting the bottom of the range, I personally am going to respect the fact that there is a range, right? So I'm not going to take any kind of trade past, well, take any kind of trade. But if I'm in an intraday trade, if something that's a little bit smaller time frame, you know, I don't plan on taking it past that, because I'm respecting a couple things. I'm respecting the current structure. I'm staying within the structure, especially if you have lower highs, right, consistently. And then I don't really want to take it past the bottom of the range, because the likelihood is it's just going to come up and retest the bottom of the range, right? That's what the probability is. So pay attention to total market cap, pay attention to USD dominance, pay attention to where you're at relative to those if you're taking a Bitcoin trade. I do like the buying pressure. I like this wick right now. I'm hoping that we can get a continuation in terms of, you know, the price moving up. I don't like what I just did there. Let's copy this, move it down, and I just want to point right here. I like the wick, right? You see the wick here? That's good. That's a good sign. Now, what it would be even nicer is if we get a candle that engulfs all of these candles on the subsequent candle. That would be really nice. Now that's on the daily. You know, so that would be a game changer for me. And then, you know, a nice little move up would make a lot of sense. It would make a whole lot of sense here for me. All right. Whew. Man. Let's see who else we got in the chat. We got my man Mike Play in the house. What up, man? Good to see you. Vince Zapata, what up? Love your educational takes. Thank you, sir. My teacher's favorite teacher, Bits of Wealth. Yeah, Bits of Wealth is good stuff, man. I like Bits a lot. He's a really good dude, and has a very similar style. A lot of what we look for. I feel like, you know, we could bounce back and forth, and like you wouldn't miss a beat between me and Bits. We love looking for liquidity. We like looking at the structure, and I think he's very like just rooted in terms of he doesn't make it too complex in my mind, and I think it's really important, right? If you're treating the market where you're looking at liquidity as one of the driving forces of what you're expecting the market to do, like and to influence whether you're getting in trades or not. Because for me, when I was studying it, you guys have heard this a million times, but like liquidity, know it or be it. Know it or be it. All right. And you know, one of my favorite quotes is, "My entry is your stop loss." Now, that wasn't my quote, but when somebody said that and I was consuming, content and researching and learning about trading and learning about structure and learning about Wyckoff and learning about, all the normal stuff that, us content creator, wannabe traders do, when I was going through that process, that resonated. That stuck with me. And then, of course, you got the old famous one, protect your capital, right? So risk management. And that's something that, he pays attention to as well. And I think that's important because you have, one of his quotes from Bits. He was like, there's a low barrier of entry into this world. And he is 100% right. And I was without a doubt, unequivocally, one of those people. All right. So I got in, I had a little bug up my butt because I watched somebody. This is when I was in my research and educational mode, like trying to, learn, how this game works. And I was watching somebody, and I'm not going to say like the name, but I watched them religiously. There was just somebody that had a good vibe. I just enjoyed, his personality. He wasn't over the top. And he was talking through, his rules and how, and at this point I'm taking notes, man. Like, I'm taking it serious. Like, there's a lot of people that listen to content and they want to trade and they don't take one damn note. It does you no good. No good if you really want to trade. If you really want to be serious and you're not taking notes or have a journal, like, what are you doing? There's no one that's that smart that can retain all of that information. That's few and far between. So anyways, I'm taking notes. I'm like, all right, cool. He's doing live trading. I'm like, this is cool because he hasn't really done that. A lot of his education was in hindsight. Now, sweet. We're doing some live trades. I can watch the actual process. I can watch the game plan. How do we get into this? How do we get out of this? And it was a big market pullback, right? Big pullback. And he was like, yeah, I think I'm going to go long. And I'm like, he's catching a falling knife right now. And there was no like, I wouldn't say the basis was there to really take a long, besides that he had a support level, like a horizontal support level. And I was just like, uh-oh. And I was like, you got, I think at the time, 1,000 people concurrently watching the show. And so it hurt because I was like, I know that there's people right now jumping into a trade with this guy live. Like, he's not a scalper. It's not like Alex when he gets on, like, there's a 40-second delay. Like, unless you know his system, like, you shouldn't be following it unless you know his system. Like, he's giving you a heads up on, like, here's the levels I'm looking at, but understand his execution, I pulled the trigger, is 40 seconds before you ever even know that it happened. It's not like that. This dude was, like, trying to do, like, an intraday, maybe it might have even been a swing trade. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, bro, everything that you taught, you just threw out the window. And I don't know if it's because he was live or what, or he's trying to like be the man and catch the bottom. But like that's part of my reasoning for like starting to be like, you know what? Let me really learn and let me, try to go through this process with people so that they don't do that. So they don't make that mistake. And that's why I'm so big. Like when I'm always like risk management, like I'm always just about like risk management and then, now that I've developed more, right? Because I made all the same mistakes, that many people make, right? I identify, let's say, the value area low. We're looking at the value area low, fixed range volume profile, baby. Everyone knows it. We're looking at it. And we're like, that's got to be support, right? Because it worked before. It's got to be support. Comes back down. What are people doing? They're getting in a trade right there, right? Because you had support. They get in a trade right here. What happens? I'm a G. It's going to the value area high, right? It's too close to the POC. It's got to go to the value area high. But it doesn't. It turns around and takes your ass out. So that's what I've learned with that. I'm like, okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this. Where's liquidity? Is that worth chasing? And that's what kind of has changed a little bit of my style in terms of like getting into the trades. Okay, well, let's sweep the low, but let's take the liquidity off the table. And once the liquidity is taken off the table, then we can think about getting it. So it's a little bit delayed, because I want to get the liquidity out of there. I want that gone before I execute or get into a trade. Now, I have further refined that as I've gotten, a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more seasoned, we'll say. And I look for something similar that Geo teaches, right? It's a PO3 is an ICT concept, really. And what you're looking for is that accumulation, right? So you have that range, and then you have manipulation. What is that manipulation, though? Right? There's 100 different ways to phrase it. There's 100 different ways to talk about it. But what is it? It's just taking a liquidity. It's a liquidity grab. Same thing I've been teaching you guys for years at this point, and talking about for years, is getting that liquidity off the table and then making the move. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution, right? So we've taken that, and I have further refined it into, let's incorporate CBD and open interest. Now I've incorporated that. So this is my trigger. Okay, so I've got the structure. I've got the sweep of liquidity. I've got that off the table. Check, check, check. Got it. Cool. We're talking B plus right now. But then I get CBD and open interest trending in the direction with the price action as well. It's just a further validation. It gives me that okay, cool. Like this is making me feel pretty good right now. All right. We've got orders on the books here. We've got liquidity taken here, and we've got CBD open interest trending up and right, further validating the fact that we have positions coming into the market. Now we have real data from the exchanges saying people are opening positions, and they're opening long positions, and that will be a nice driving force. So what we've done is statistically put the probability in our favor of taking a successful trade in my mind. At this point, like, I'm a huge believer in that process right there. I've put that process in the Discord, both in my Discord and in Alex's Discord. If you want to see it, there's like a little playbook, all right, to take you through that. All right, like I said, the PO3 concept with CBD and open interest. And that has worked really, really well for me in terms of scalping and intraday. Okay, now it's only those two things. Swing trading, a little bit different. You don't have to have all of that, but it does work for swing trades as well. It really does, but you may not get that true accumulation manipulation. Like you may have something like today where you have a very key level, you have a wick out of that zone, then you're probably looking for like a bullish engulfing or something like that on the backside. But totally different thought process there because you may not have a huge area of accumulation or a big range. Okay, so again, dude, it's all about education here and making you guys better. And maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I could be just high on life. Who knows? Maybe I'm lucky. But here nor there, that's kind of been the current take for me. Let's go over to the chat real quick. Let's see who we got in here. We got username in there, of course. How you doing, bro? Good to see you, man. Hope all is well with you. Man, got me on a tangent. I stand with Stan. Okay, all right. Who else we got? Back to all-time high? I don't know, man. Like, eventually, right? That's why I'm taking the approach right now. Like I said, man, for me, like I'm taking a heavier amount of capital, I'm DCA. I DCA today. And if we go back to the all-time high, beautiful. Great. Fine with me, right? Then it's easy money, right? Because I started my DCA here. If we go down another level, also fine. Ultimately, where do we end up? Yeah, eventually we're going to end up at the all-time high again, right? That's just the logical trajectory of the price action over time. And we could say realistically in the next couple years that, yeah, you're going to go to the all-time high and you're going to surpass the all-time high. Is it going to go straight to the all-time high from here? No, absolutely not. We got a lot to fight through. We got macro stuff going on. I mean, you really haven't even seen any QE yet. So right now, you know, I don't think there's a big push. I think, you know, funny, I was on a space with quantum economics and it was Gary Cardone. He got on there. Now, see, he said something funny in my mind. And he was like, I think a lot of the crypto bros are broke. Like, you know, they've been beaten into submission. It was like, what are they gonna buy more coins with they're gonna buy more Bitcoin with Bitcoin? I was like, damn. You know, I didn't really think about that. So like it really is dependent on new people coming in and, you know, institutional investment right now. And we don't have new people coming in. We don't. There's not a big interest in crypto. The sentiment is poo. Like, people were asking me about Bitcoin, if they should invest in Bitcoin when it went up over 100K. That's all gone. That is all gone. And everybody's in the dumps. If you're bragging at, you know, the holidays about how your crypto portfolio is and you're in altcoins, you were probably lying. Unless you got in real early. Because 2025 was not a good year for altcoins. All right? It was not. Let's be real about it. I mean, I'm personally, like I said, I got a bag just like everyone else. All right? And that bag is not looking great. It's not the altcoins. Bitcoin has just been on a different trajectory. I've gone through that parallel before ad nauseum with Ethereum, Cardano. It did not keep the parallel, right? The channel that Bitcoin has kept, Ethereum, Cardano, AVAX, none of them have stayed on the same trajectory as Bitcoin. You should be over your all-time high for Ethereum from the 2021 cycle high. You should be over that for most of those assets, right? Because we are for Bitcoin, are we not? 69K. That was the high. So why are the altcoins not on the same trajectory? They're down. Shit. Cardano's down from like $3. I think it was at $3.26 or something around there. It's at what? 28 cents? Something. 30 cents. Okay, you got a little bounce. 30 cents. So that's something you got to be real careful of. And when I'm getting into those positions, when I'm getting into positions on altcoins, understand that like that's not a heavy piece of what I'm investing in. I'm not going, because I know a lot of people look at Cardano and they're like, oh, it's at 30 cents. Well, it's got a lot more likelihood to go to 60 cents than Bitcoin does to 140K. That's what they think. That's the thought process. Where we've already shown you that Bitcoin went from 69K to 126. So it made gains, even though right now the gains are minimal from the 2021 high. It made gains, but Cardano, you're down from the highs 70%. So I'm putting a lot less capital into altcoins. My sentiment won't be bad if they go to zero. I'll be okay. Because I know you've heard it, like when people are like, hey, invest what you can lose. I mean, you're kind of rolling the dice. There's a lot of speculation. Let's get that out of the way. You are rolling the dice investing in altcoins. You are rolling the dice. There's no doubt about it. Just because they're building stuff on the blockchain don't mean it's going to double in price. Now, I will invest in things that I think have utility. I'm open about that. Like I said, AVAX. I've been talking about AVAX, and it has been poop. Absolute poop. I think that's at what? $8, $10, somewhere around there right now. I don't even want to look at it. I've made good. It's at $10. I've made good money off of it. Like I've played AVAX a couple times when we had those big dips. ADA and AVAX, I made good money off. But, you know, once you see those turns where they lose those key levels of support, where we've seen nice bounces off it, then, you know, you start thinking about DCA. And if you think they're losing those levels, you could hedge against those plays as well. Like if you want to build a spot bag, but you lose a key level and you think there's going to be a continuation of the downside, you can hedge against it, right? Like you can still go short and like almost break even. Like there's so many different ways to play this game. There's so many different ways. But like, you know, that's one of the things that kind of like blows my mind is like people really want to be in here. They want to play the game, but they're not playing the game. Like you gotta be somewhat active unless you're just going to DCA and hodl. So, all right, enough of the rants. Let's look at something. Let's look at Ethereum. We got 7 minutes, man. I crushed some time today. I'm gonna have some content for some shorts, that's for sure. Oh yeah, Ethereum's all the way at the top. See the Nasdaq, S&P, they're both down. Looks like they're bouncing though. I think the Nasdaq was down like 2% today. But let's look at Ethereum. I think that was under 2100 or around 2100. All right. So we're looking at this level here. Look at that, man. Right down to the 0.786 and range bottom, right? This happens a lot. Always pay attention to these. Man, lost that high value impulse move through the zone. So this is a good thing to talk about, right? Because I know I talked about this and I was like, hey, you could see a little bounce out of the previous POC, high volume area node, and it really just ended up being an impulse move through. Really, really important takeaway there. Because you didn't see a wick, you saw a what? A big-bodied candle, and I tell you that all the time. If you see a big-bodied candle, stay away from that. That does not mean take a trade, take a chance when it bounces in there. All right, this is an impulse move through the zone. Stay away from that. All right, the likelihood is that you'll see it come back up and retest. It didn't even do that. The trajectory on that was just stupid. But anyways, you stay away from these, okay? I just want to be clear about that. All right, so you stay away from that, all Gucci. But one thing that you see a lot is retesting the bottoms of these ranges. That's why my DCA point on Bitcoin was at the bottom of one of the ranges, the previous range. This range really, I believe, right? We're going to what, like May, April? I think, yeah. So it's about the same time frame as Bitcoin. I think it's a couple months difference, but this is the same range that I was looking at on Bitcoin. Like Ethereum has hit the bottom of that range. And again, this goes back to that parallel thing. What is holding up better right now? Bitcoin or Ethereum? Bitcoin. Bitcoin be at the top, Ethereum be at the bottom. See what I'm saying? So yes, there's gains to be had. Yes, it will move exponential. Yes, it'll have these big moves. Like it'll move. When it moves. But are you catching this down here? Which we did on this channel. We talked about this a lot because it was a very key level. We took a trade on this. Did we take it all the way up? Nope. I'm conservative. I took my base, and this one I think was more like a double. You might call it a triple. All right. I took profits on that. No doubt about it. But I mean, we lost. Like, look, we were looking at 28 to 2,900. We were calling that here on the channel for a really long time. We got a bounce out of 28 to 2,900. We took a play on that. And then we closed it, right? Because what? This is the thing, man. I always say protect your money. The freaking structure, lower highs, lower lows. It's clear as day. Stop. Don't fight the structure. So we take our win from 28 to 2,900. We took it up. And we got out because this was still within structure. Now, it did ultimately go above, but this was still within structure. We take our win, and we don't round trip it. This is how we can stay consistently profitable and not get our butts whooped. Take your win. Take your single, your double, whatever. In this case, a single. All right, it's a baseball reference if you guys are tracking on that. You know, base hits. All right, base hits not sexy. It's not. But it's consistent and it helps the team. So, looking at this area here for Ethereum, that's a nice level. It's a nice level. You got a really strong wick coming out of there. You got a nice bounce. Does that mean it's ultimately just going to go up, up, and away? No, I'm not saying that at all, but it's a nice level. It's definitely a nice level to see a bounce. But if you're looking at it, you do have a high volume area node right here at about 25. We said 25 to 26 was pretty key in terms of, you know, levels for Ethereum. Don't be surprised. Let's get rid of this. It's obviously not in play anymore. All right, so you can see the arrow here pointing at the high volume area node. You got to be careful because you don't want to see it come up and then do what? Come back down. So if you were in a position or you took a position on Ethereum, where is an area that you would be looking for taking profits? And again, I'll say if it was me, all right? Not you, me. If I was looking at this or was in a position, then that's where I'd be looking at taking profits. Right there. Why? It's conservative. Take the base hit. And if I wanted to, I could always get back in. Now, for this one, I don't think I'd be really interested in taking or getting back into a position on Ethereum until I got back above about 27, probably 27 and some change, even 28, probably 28 to be realsies. I don't think I'd be interested in getting back in a position. Like if I didn't catch the bottom, which I did not take a position on Ethereum. I don't think I'm really interested in taking a position until I'm back and reestablish this range. If I get acceptance back into the range, then I think about it. So that's kind of what I'm looking at on Ethereum. Again, high volume area node here, about 25 to 26. Be careful of that. You got a really nice zone here though for a bounce. So I mean, look at this. That's a clear ass horizontal if I've seen one right there. That's clear. I don't know why I was sleeping on that. I think I've been so like honed in. I've been trying to get my scalping game up. I got to compete with Alex a little bit. But yeah, that's a really nice zone. Benefit of hindsight, I guess. Didn't catch that one. But I think that has a good probability. Let's put a fib on it. There's a probability that could hold up. Oh, that's what that... I've already got... I didn't see the line there. Stupid. Let me move it. Let me move it over. Bring it into... There you go. Stupid. All right, there you go. So yeah, you got the 0.786. It's a great place to see a bounce. When you zoom out though, you got some volume there. If you lose it though, if you lose this area for Ethereum, you very realistically, your next stop's going to be down here, this high volume area, about 1800. Ain't nobody going to like that. All right. Let's see what we got going on in the chat. Oh, man. Let's see. Rolling through. Breakdown and retest. Is it AVAX the Great? Ajax the Great? Oh, man. AVAX is just kicking my butt. Just buying AVAX. I mean, I like AVAX only because it has utility, real utility. I don't like the way the chart looks. It looks ugly. It looks really bad. We got Army Piper in the house. What up, man? Sitting in the casino watching DJs while I watch YouTube DJs. Love it. Glad you're having fun, man. Miss you, dude. We got to definitely catch up. Mark Dutch in the house. Evening Legends. Lurking while making pancakes. Let's go, man. You got some maple syrup? It's an important part. You got to have maple syrup, man. There is no other syrup. but maple syrup. All right. Infinite Team 2. What up, bro? Good to see you in the chat, man. Sorry I was late giving you a call out there, but hopefully you're in here still. Alrighty. Let's see. We'll look at Cardano real quick, and then we'll get out of here. It's usually kind of my go-to 3. Just scanning the market real quick on the right. Just kind of looking at these, seeing what's down. Looks like gold. I love. There it is. Where it is.
I love gold.
There you go. That's up. Let's see what else. Strategy is down. Surprise, surprise. Nvidia is down. So a lot of risk-on assets seem to be moved in the downside there. Hey, if you guys want to trade the NASDAQ, you got the TQQQ and the SQQQ, which are, I believe, the leveraged ones, if I remember correctly. So you can make some Skrilla kind of quick if you like trading the NASDAQ. These ones are leveraged. It's only like a 2x though. All right, let's look at Cardano real quick. Like, here you go. Okay, so I was talking about kind of my process here for Cardano. We hit a key level at about 27. And so all I'm really looking for on Cardano, goodness gracious, I got a bunch of stuff going on in there. Lots of drawings. Let's get rid of all that stuff. Yeah, so let's get rid of this too. Just bringing my cost basis down. Honestly, if we get back to 50 cents, I'm selling. I'm likely going to sell at 50 cents. That's kind of the going in plan right now. I think my cost basis is down around like 32. So knowing that my cost basis is down around 32, get back to 50, I ain't going to be mad at that. Again, this is, using real capital. Might front run that 50 a little bit. We'll see. Nah, yeah, 49. 49 makes sense. So around 49.50, that's a 50% gain. I ain't gonna be upset at that. I understand there could be some more drawdown. I hope not for Cardano's sake. Good lord, because if you got more drawdown, if we see more continuation in terms of Bitcoin working its way down, which is probable to be honest. Getting below the bear market lows, man, that sucks for Cardano. But that's also why when I'm looking at where could we go, you don't hear me talking about $2. You're not saying, hey, I got 30,000 Cardano and I'm gonna go up to $2 and then I'm gonna cash out. Nah. That's not what I'm doing. All right, I'm trying to stay within the structure, which this is ugly AF. All right, this is real ugly. I was thinking, hey, we're following the trend. We got lower highs, lower lows, but we've broken to the bottom side of that. It might actually be worth, let's do this. It might be worth doing this. Taking the highs, taking the lows, coming back up. What does that put you at? About 43? So, I'd still be profitable. Just retesting the bottom of that, I guess we can call it a channel, loosely. But retesting the bottom of that, getting through that high volume area, hopefully. And then getting back probably, to the lower side of that. So, if, I might have to tweak this a little bit. We'll evaluate it as we go up, see what the market's doing, see what the sentiment is there. But again, if we're looking at 32 cents as a cost basis, even if I were to get out and front run this a little bit, get the horizontal, high volume, bottom of the channel there, 30%. Okay, I'm not mad at that. So again, it's just realistic investing. It ain't sexy. I'll try to get a little more sexy for you guys with a little bit more of the scalping trades. Like I said, I'm hammering that right now. So I'm a little bit less active in the Discord right now because I'm hammering this scalping thing. I really want to, keep doing that. And it's been working pretty well so far. So, hopefully I'll have a completely laid out system playbook. Like I said, I have kind of the workings of that now that I've put in the Discord. But, I really want to fine tune that And then, yeah, you know, we'll teach you guys that if you guys want to get into that. Bitcoin looks like it's getting a little continuation here. All right, continuing to move to the upside. Love to see it. Like I said, I unloaded today some of my dry powder. I unloaded some of my dry powder today. I did, because we hit my first DCA point. So I like seeing this. This is a nice little V going on. Not a big fan of saying V-shaped recovery, but it looks good. All right, nice move to the upside. We're gonna start retesting some key levels here, getting up to the bottom at about 77,000. Love to see it. Love to see it. All right, with that, I think ending on a good note is a good thing. Let's see. I think it's time. V Monitor, welcome to the party, bro, but we're just about to get out of here. So I hope everyone is having a great day. I appreciate all of you for being here. Please like, subscribe. I would appreciate that. Helps me with the channel. If you guys want to save some money on your transaction fees, come on over to 2bit. Also, of note, I think I'm going to be shifting over a lot of my Discord to Alex O's Discord. Falling underneath of him. I'll kind of have my own little dedicated area there. And it's going to be same rules apply. So if you want access to everything in the trade brigade, you will still have that via a 2bit affiliate link. Okay, so you will have to have that to have access. So everybody that's a brigade member now, you'll still be able to come over. You will have access to me within the Discord, but that will be it. If you would like to upgrade, I have an affiliate link that I'll put in the description. It's not in right now, but I got a couple things I got to hash out in terms of getting everything set up in the Discord. Once it goes live, I'll let you guys know. And then that is probably going to be the spot to find me. I think I'm going to push everything over to there. Just makes more sense for my life. I'm a busy man. I got a lot going on. Me managing a Discord for all 7 of you is not my idea of time efficiency. So come on over to Alex's Discord again. I'll give you guys the links. I'll get you over there and we'll get that all set up. But that's the way we're going to be rolling. I hope everyone has a great day. Much love to you guys. As always, trade safe, be safe. I'm out.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why they say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.